Francisco, we've talked briefly about online learning, and it's something that I personally am really interested in. I'm trying to become better at, and you've had a number of years of experience with this. And you mentioned that relationships are key to online learning, and yet we're in an online environment. Do you mean that relationships are important?
Well, I would like to start by first referring to Gilly Salmon's 5-step model on online learning. So just to quickly show how much time she recommends to what she calls socializing. 5-steps model, maybe you can see it better in this picture, where the first steps are always setting up the systems and making sure everybody has access, welcoming and encouraging students' activities, access and motivation, again, different kinds of activities, online socialization. So you can see we are halfway the whole tree of learning before they actually start studying the content. So lots of time for this kind of community building, so that they feel they are a community and they trust each other. And I myself would say that the whole success of online learning depends on the assignments that you give them. The assignments need to be such that they force them to socialize, get to know each other, all kinds of like how to conduct a true dialogue, because some of them are talkative, some of them like to withdraw from the discussion. There are activities where they can sort of analyze their own behavior in a group discussion and find out whether they are the talkative ones who never let anybody any space and they need to step back. And the kind of golden rule would be to listen as much as you talk and talk as much as you listen. It's kind of fun activities that have the students relax and then learn to trust each other. And also assignments that require personal information, sharing personal beliefs and personal ideas would be contributing to the kind of getting to know each other truly and trusting each other. And this is a safe place to be.
I think the question I would want to ask you as part of that, as a context for what you were just saying, is, so what would be the time frame over which, I mean, when you went through the model there, we got to 1, 2, and 3 stage really quite quickly. So would that be the very first time that you meet as a group? Is that, when you first get a group together for an online a module or a lesson or a theme or a project, and you meet for the first time? Whereabouts in the tree would you expect to get to? Or do you constantly go back and revisit each of the places on the tree? Do you go through those stages every time you meet, or do you do them one stage at a time?
Well, the first answer would be to revisit whenever it's necessary. But this is why I like blended learning best, because if you have a possibility to get together face to face at the beginning of the online course, like the course I'm running with Masters of Educational Leadership students at TAMK, they have an intensive week where they all have to come from all over the world. They have to come to Tampere for a week. And this is where they are socialized. So they cook together and they go to sauna together and jump in the lake together. And this is where they get to know each other. And that will take care of the socialization part. But then if you can't have that, then I would say you have to build that process from the beginning quite till the end, because it's much slower if you are totally online. So that the first time could be like just getting to know each other, even to have a pre-task where they introduce themselves before they even meet online, so that they can read about or watch videos. There could be an introduction video where they tell about their interests and expectations, whatever, or a text that they submit. And then we talk about these, and then maybe we have something about the content already. And next time, again, something else to help them to bond. And also the assignments between the meetings. If you're going to need to decide how many times you are going to meet with a whole cohort, or would it be enough just to meet with the small groups separately? And between these meetings online, they would have to work together in small groups. And these assignments, again, that they work together without you, the teacher, should always have this element of bonding. Would you like to see, Steve, the course I'm all the time talking about? Because I could show you this online course that I'm so happy with.
I would.
Just a glimpse of something that you can also see the intensive week. This is the whole course, started on the 14th of August and is over now.
Yeah.
And here is the first, but we are 2 teachers there. Here are the announcements, course, task, overview. They can see at the glimpse what it looks like, rubric. And then they had a pre-task before they started. They needed to make some visuals about their own education system and then be prepared to discuss and explain that in small groups while they are in Tampere, because they were introduced to the Finnish education system. Here they've created their own small groups, and here are their small groups discussion forums. This is just a kind of place where they can start if they haven't yet any other like common tool to have discussions, but they usually take it outside Moodle. And resource literature, all the resource literatures here. This is the intensive week. This is not the whole program, because this is only this course that took place on one day. But what they did there, they have been cooking and taking sauna in the meanwhile. Right. Here's the instructional design. I quickly show you. This is what I was talking about last time, that it always begins with an information search that they do individually, and then they individually reflect on their readings, either by making some notes or making visuals or writing something. And then they have this collaborative knowledge building where they all have something to contribute because they've already studied something together, and they get feedback from each other, and they may get feedback from the teacher. And based on this more comprehensive understanding of the topic they are studying, they then do some observations in the workplace, for example, or interview some colleagues or whatever. They have the reflection again put in the timetable so that this time for reflection is taken into account in the assignment, how long it can take. And then usually also individual evidence of learning after the whole process. But sometimes there's a group product there. I'll show you one of the assignments that makes it personal. Here, after the intensive week, they start with the first theme. What is learning is their first theme. Here, this is the first individual task. This is an introduction, how they will have to first think about their own learning, then read about learning theories, and then try to understand their own thinking about learning based on these theories. So this is their first assignment, which is personal.
I love that handprint. That's a lovely idea.
So they think about their learning. For example, your thumb is your first memory of learning.
Yeah.
And so forth. And they this assignment asks them just to make notes so that they remember later. And after they have gone through the whole hand, they then read the first chapter in the set book, Comprehensive Understanding of Human Learning. And then they need to see if they can now understand it theoretically. Why did they learn? What were the factors are contributing to their learning to ride a bike, for example, if that's the first memory of learning.
Yeah.
And then they need to discuss their learning experiences in 200 to 400 words in the discussion forum. In the general discussion forum, all of them tell about their hand and how they now understand their own learning. And it's usually a very lively discussion. Let me show you. So it's a really lively discussion, and they are talking about themselves and their own learning. So maybe that's enough of an example, but this is how the assignment can make it personal and can make them open up to each other.
Perfect.
Thank you.
That's just fantastic, Cisco. And if you're happy to talk about to talk about your course in that way, it will be an ideal vehicle. I think we've got a plan for a series of discussions here, Cisco, if that's okay with you, because I think what you've just explained will be lovely to explore one stage at a time.